Why don't you start us off by telling us a little bit about your work?
Okay, so I work at an organization called Tara Trusts. I've been working in the design team. So there's a design and implementation team at Tara Trusts. The design team is primarily responsible for discussing who to give the money to and what the programs are going to look like, because we work across healthcare, nutrition, education, you name the field, and we're there. And whenever you think about anything to do with within the non-governmental organizational sector, within the social sector, Tara Trust is there. And we're primarily grantors. So we have to evaluate grants. We have to evaluate the work being done by people. And I primarily work with that team to help manage the programs, as well as report timely as to what is the progression of the grant like, what are the outcomes, have they been met, how do we correct our course going forward? Can we make use of the money better? And of course, the final closure of the grant when it ultimately comes to that. So a bunch of things. So that's just a gist of the team that I work in.
Thank you, Daphne. It's been such a joy and even worship to learn about each other's work. Not just Daph, but as I've been hearing everyone talk about their work, I've just been led to worship and thank God for giving us opportunities to serve like this. Thanks, Daph. How do you see your work connecting with God's original plan for creation?
So Anand has to wrestle with this a lot. Like I remember about when I started working, and when I used to just when I was an audit analyst, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. There was something, I was always in front of the computer. I mean, Saurabh would definitely, a lot of people I know who worked with firms like KPMG, Ernst and Young, and I would constantly be in front of Excel sheets, and I would not enjoy my work at all, even though it was number crunching, and that wasn't something I enjoyed. And then I realized that over the years, I've realized that that's not, every work is important, and everyone who's doing like any sort of work, it ties in with God's plan for their life. And I started realizing the importance of that. So ultimately, even today, whatever work I'm doing, I'm glad that God has put me in a position where the organization itself seeks to serve. So for them, like going out and making sure like COVID supplies are available currently, or probably making sure that schools have teachers who can teach a curriculum which is relevant to the current times, or to make sure that the health systems are strengthened as per how the world is progressing. So they are seeking to serve in the best manner possible. And I see that tie so beautifully with God's plan, because God did call us to serve. And I'm truly blessed to be part of an organization that is doing that. But at the same time, everybody who's doing work, any kind of work, it ties in with God's plan, because ultimately we need someone to do something somewhere. Like had somebody not been doing communications, then things will not take off. Like had somebody not been doing accounting, bills would not get paid on time. So this organization has let me see that like truly beautifully, because everybody comes together to make the machine work. And so I feel that I'm blessed to be in a sector that is already serving people, and I hope and pray that I continue to work in this field.
Thank you, Daph. Uh, at the same time, we all remember and acknowledge that all this beautiful work is still happening in a broken world.
Yeah.
And so, how does your work, Daph, make you aware of your own brokenness and the brokenness of the world around us?
So Anand, even in an organization like this, there's always competition, and there's all sorts of like sometimes we lose sight of what we are working for, and we start focusing more on things like, oh, we haven't been given an increment, or that person just joined and that person is so senior. And these are just such few very real problems that people have and discuss at work. And there's a lot of gossip that happens all the time, and we're all prone to gossip. And I see that like around us, and I feel that somewhere down the line, even I sometimes like do get stuck in that trap. But I'm also seeing that how God really reminds me, like sometimes I need community, and I need conversations with people who believe and trust in God. And I myself have to run back to the word to understand that this is all part of being human, and I'm not God, and I need a savior to pull me out of all of this. The brokenness is very real.
Thanks, Daph. The brokenness is real, our own brokenness and the brokenness of the world around us. But our redemption is also real. God's constantly uh, fixing the brokenness. He is making us, each of us, whole and the world whole, and He will make us absolutely perfect one. So, right now, how is the gospel enabling you to become a better worker? Is there an example that you can share?
Yeah, actually,
Or
it's
yeah,
also a testimony. We're a team of people who try to coordinate between different teams, and we get all the work done. If anybody's stuck anywhere, we try and push things forward, be it money not going out on time, or consultant reviews not done, or program not being managed correctly. So a certain girl was leaving, and she was handling a really large portfolio, and her entire workload came onto me, and I was just asked if I would, take it up. And I said, sure, I'll take it up. But then, being human, I thought, oh, this is a promotion. I'm going to get lots of money. I'm going to get paid, and this is going to be like great. And um, yeah. And then all those things started like going in my head. And then I got a phone call, and they said, no, you have to continue to do your work. You also have to make sure you do this other person's work. And I was, I was corrected, and I was told that you please note that there are a lot of people being asked to leave. So this is just an addition to your current work. So please make sure that you are also doing this to the best of your abilities. So that's where I started thinking that okay, this is that's where God and God's word is so important, because I said that I started looking at the blessings that I have instead of the extra work. And and so many people around me came forward to help, and it's just like that I am not just taking somebody else's work, but I'm also being blessed to be able to do that work. No, and I should not see it as, oh, like I should be paid for it, or I should be given credit for it. But the fact that that I'm being blessed and being given the opportunity to conduct myself and expand myself in such difficult and trying times. So the gospel really helped me, because there you're not supposed to be seeking continuously. God has better plans for me, and His ways and thoughts are higher than my ways and thoughts. And that constantly reminded me that I should go about my life, and God will take care of it.
thanks, Daph. I think you really touched upon a very important thing there. Our work goes far beyond our salary or even recognition. Our work is unto the Lord. Thank you. Um, how 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 have you been able to serve others through your work? I know it's a pretty obvious question given the work that you do, but it'd be great to hear you out.
So I'm just continuously like, so I the work that I do, I am continuously emailed, and people keep asking me to get check their budgets, make sure their budgets are pushed forward, because I'm in the middle. I speak to senior management, and I make sure the program budgets are passed on time so that the others can do their work. So a lot of times when there's trouble in pushing things and things get delayed a lot, like I generally end up having a lot of friendly conversations with my colleagues, and end up asking about how their days are going, how they've been doing. In fact, this is where I'd also like to bring like how Neeta and I reconnected even when during the pandemic, like how we were continuing to do some work together, and I just spoke to her, and I mentioned New City, and I said, this is how we continue to support each other. You should join. So I do bring up through my work, I'm able to have a lot of good conversations with people, and I'm able to really push their work through. And then I tend to not take credit for it. I tend to also say that, I'm happier in the work that I'm doing. Because I believe in the one true God. So I try to make it a part of my daily conversation and my daily work. And I'm able to truly, I feel, help people just by having a personal conversation with them, and not being the higher up in a conversation, and just trying to push their work and get it done on time.
Thanks, Daph. Last question. How is your work here and now? How are you able to connect your work here and now with the perfect world that we are all longing for? Christ comes again.
So I think this is the most difficult question, because every time I see a failure at work, every time I see something, because there are so many people who come to us for grants, and not everybody can be accommodated. So the best, I always think that it is an imperfect world, and I can't provide for everything, and neither can my team, and neither can the organization. And that's that's why I have a hope. Like, this is not satisfying me enough. Like, neither is my work, neither are my abilities, neither are the resources that we have at our hand. And even with the entire might of the Tata Group, like, we can't make this world a perfect world. And that's what truly gives me the hope, that I know that something bigger and something greater is coming. And that's why even during this entire pandemic, like, I've been constantly going back to the question, and even doing the study of Genesis, it really taught me that God made us as humans as the pinnacle of his creation, and he has great plans for us. So that's why none of this is going to satisfy me. And that's why I have the hope that going, when I am finally with my creator, I will realize, and all my questions will be answered, and entire creation would be realized, and my redemption would be true, and I will be with my God. So that is the hope I have in all the failures and all the brokenness I see every day. Uh, I'm strengthened further to know that one day I will be with my God, and nothing will come even close.
And thank you, Daphne. We all need that hope, especially at a time like so much grief and sorrow around us. So that's a good note to end this interview on. Thank you so much, Daph. Thank you for being honest, and thank you for sharing a little bit about your work and helping us to think about our own. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks, Anand. Thanks, everyone.